Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Scots Whay Hae podcast. And today I'm joined by composer and sound designer Oğuz Kaplangı to talk about his album Resist. Hello, Oğuz.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's amazing.
Well, it's really nice to meet you. Can't wait to talk to you about Resist. There's so much to talk about. First of all, can you give us an overview of Resist?
Yeah, I mean, this idea came to my mind a while ago while watching everything going around us in the world and every place, and their reflections on personal lives. I felt a bit first overwhelmed, exhausted about what's going on, and just only following everything through social media. And so I felt this. I've been feeling this responsibility since many years, just always trying to do something. So that's how it started. So I've thought that I should bring these reflections on people's life, these stories, as into an album, and that's my way of resisting, basically. And so it started like that
So
in the
the
first place.
inspiration
Yeah.
was almost the kind of news that we are getting every minute of every day now.
News, authority, the changes of the lives because of this authority, and this authority isn't only just the governments, it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
personal lives, personal spaces. It's getting more and more less day by day. So I thought, yes, basically it is the inspiration, I think.
Okay, and so in terms of inspiration, it's not exactly specific events, it's an overall.
Overall, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So
for
what,
that, yeah, sorry,
oh
yeah.
no, on you go.
And for that, I mean, I have this responsibility to bring this idea, I thought, to bring some voice, but it's not just, it can't be just my voice because there's so many stories going around. So that's why that is where the collaboration, in fact, happens. That's why I collaborated with so many people, so different people to bring
Yeah, and
different stories. Yeah.
that's, I mean, the themes, there are a number of themes, which run through the album, one being resistance, you've got to solidarity and also human connection. And I was thinking there's definitely human connection on this album because you collaborate with so many other
Yeah.
musicians and singers and all sorts. Can you talk a bit about the collaborative nature of the project?
Yes, I can say that it is basically based on the album is based on collaboration itself, and I have this lovely, beautiful people around me. I'm so lucky to have met so many people in Scotland, and not only in Scotland, also from America, Turkey. There are different writers, performers who got involved into the album, and basically, it cannot be just my voice. I'm resisting, but everyone has, as I said, have their own perspectives, stories, lived experiences. So that is when this diversity of ideas, thoughts, stories come together and make it like a collaborative project. I'm not exactly sure, but I think there are 23 collaborators in the whole project from top to end. And yes, that was as much as difficult by means of production because of time limitings and everything. Uh, I had this pleasure of working with so many different people.
I was wondering how you recorded it because you just say there's a number of different people on it. Was
Yes.
it done in a studio? Was it done over a long period of time? How did it work?
Some of them, depending on their locations, basically, but some of them, first of all, these people are the people I've been working for so long. I
Yeah.
know their studio equipments, environments, whatever needed. Uh, if they have any access to recording setups or not. But some of them, I went to Glasgow to record. I'm Edinburgh based, by the way, and I went to Glasgow for some of the tracks, vocal recordings. Amazing studio there. Gorbals Sound, and I met this lovely people over there as well, who did amazing job in the recordings. Some of the tracks were recorded there, including border pipes, and some in my own studio setup here in Edinburgh, and the rest all in their own studio setups with friends or even in some professional studios. Yeah.
So you should talk a bit about who else is on the album. It's a lot of people to remember. I know that, but who else is involved? And as you say, you've worked with some of them previously.
And yes, most of them are Scottish based. Uh, Zinni Harris, for example, an amazing playwright and also a very close friend of mine. We worked on several theater projects since 2017. And another name, Hannah Khalil. We also worked with her in various in with RSC in a
Mhm.
museum in Baghdad, and then she is London-based. Natalie Altoin, an amazing actor and writer, again from Edinburgh. We worked on a few film projects. She's a lovely singer as well, not only a writer, and also an actor.
Mhm.
And some actors from the theater world, which Scottish audience knows very well, like Kirsty Finley, Stephanie McGareth. They did amazing vocal performances. They brought the spirits, the souls of the songs, like goosebumps. I can say that was so beautiful. Yeah.
Because it does feel now at the moment it's just an album, isn't it?
For now, yes. In fact, on my mind, it is like the first stage of this project. It isn't just a album. I had to start. Should I continue with the rest of it? What I'm hoping, not planning
Yeah.
yet. So basically, the concept is about resistance,
Mhm.
and it is, as you can also, as everyone can tell, the music is very diverse. It's very changing from one style to another. So because the narrative here is the important part for me, and I let the narrative go into any direction that's required by means of musical style. But basically, what I have in my on my mind from day one is putting this on stage as an audiovisual project. So, performing with a band and reaching to wider audiences and festivals, hopefully, all around Europe, and not keeping it only as a digital release. So there are steps on my mind which will. Now I'm still in the promotion phase of the album and still releasing some singles day by day, and they are getting they're very well achieved, except welcomed from some playlists, and this is going nice. But I believe I should release a physical version of it, which will be a vinyl at some point, and that will be followed by a stage setup, hopefully performing. Yes, these are what I'm hoping to achieve in the next couple of months, and putting it on stage at some point, not so far away from this, and that will bring me back to this project. I think after performing on live, I'll see if because resistance isn't ending, because history keeps repeating itself. I want to put more and more tracks and feed the project with a second release. Hopefully, it's in the near future.
Well, this is why I really wanted to talk to you because when I listened to the album, first of all, I thought this sounds like a soundtrack. This is musical theatre. You know, that's what
Yes,
it said
somehow.
to me. And then I kind of researched your own background, and that is your background, isn't it? Your TV, film, composing for the theatre as well. So it's interesting to hear that that's always been part of what you intended to do. Because I think most people think it almost works the other way around. You go to the theatre show and then you get the soundtrack album, if but you're doing that the other way.
Yes, I think yeah. I'm because I first think everything in a way of musical way, and sound also. They are equal in my brain somehow, and then the concept shapes out of this narratives. The musical and sound supports that, but I think what attracts me most is the interaction with people.
Mm.
Especially these days, I mean, I've been doing this music business professionally since 30 years now, but uh, I always loved the interaction because mostly I'm in my studio
Yeah.
composing for screen and everything. But when I'm on stage, and I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and I always performed on stage since I was 18. So that is the part, looking into people's eyes, sharing that common thing together in that magical moment.
Yeah.
That is when I feel like I reach to wider audiences with my projects, collaborations, and everything. That is what feeds, I think, a musician mostly sharing what you do on stage. So
Yeah,
I'll try to bring this one as well. Like a few other projects, I toured a lot.
yeah.
So now this is on the table for me.
But that's really interesting because when I listen to the album, these are songs that are kind of demanding to be performed. There's a kind of performance. We should say that as you mentioned, that there's different styles. There's kind of electronic music, rock music, a bit of folk. There's some pipes on there as
Yeah.
well. There's spoken word. There's a real kind of cultural mix going on. Is that important to you, that kind of bringing together different cultures?
On this project, it was very important because we see this resistance or the change in many different places. It isn't just
Yeah,
sitting here or look, I mean, everywhere something is happening. And that is why I try to bring in so many different cultural approaches, let's say, or several countries on my mind, not directly pointing at something or someone or some governments, but because it's always happening,
yeah.
not only now. So I try to keep it timeless by bringing it so many changes happening around us in the world. And it is a crazy time this time again. So yeah, that's why I try to bring in so many different approaches together.
The other thing that struck me was it felt to me like there was a narrative that runs through it. This is kind of storytelling. Is that fair as
That's
well?
right. That's correct. Yeah, that I try to achieve it. I'm glad that you're saying and seeing this. So basically, even though the album is consisting different stories, there
Yeah,
is another narrative in the background which I try to keep it from top to end. So I myself
yeah,
somehow at some parts come in and go like the narrator, not the narrator exactly, but so basically, I am upset, disappointed about what's happening, and I try to come in as a character
yeah,
from top to end, and that I will try to do on stage as well. Like
yeah,
seeing the main thing, main change, putting my reaction into that as a somehow I feel myself like a post-apocalyptic character in the album. The damage has been done, but I'm still trying to resist with my music by bringing in these different stories. And yes, basically that's the main narrative, I think.
and again, collaborating with these different artists and actors and musicians, did you discuss the themes with them? Were the songs written, or did that come through a collaborative process as well?
I mean, they were totally free on what they did. I just tried to outline the main themes, basic themes, and I try to keep an arc all through the album. Like there are on my mind, I was trying to give represent there are three different stages. First, something is about to change, something is happening, and that change is affecting our personal lives, personal identities, everything. So the first part of the album, the project, is more focused on this theme, while in the second part there is more reaction or yes, reaction I can say, or what is being done or experienced. And then the third part, I try to give some hope
Yeah,
because without hope there's no meaning. I mean, if we lose the hope, we're finished. And I think the main idea behind resistance is hope in our lives as well. So I tried to underline these themes basically, and contacted the on my mind who may be the right person to be in this under this team. So that's I just talked them about a few words about what I have in my mind on my mind, and then they came back with this wonderful, amazing lyrics, and that is where they were totally free. That's how they felt
wow.
about the change, and then those ideas came together, and then that's the part when I was thinking that okay, this should be performed by this artist, and this musically it is corresponding to this style. That's where the musical style and the performance mostly shaped.
It's again going back to this idea of theatre. It's got three acts, then three act
Yeah.
piece, which is fantastic. Um, And you mentioned how important it is to play live and for you to play live. Have you played any of the album live? Are there plans to?
This one,
Yes.
Resist. No, not yet. I mean, I'm planning. I need to first what I have, I'm basically okay. I'll share with you. I'm so
Yeah.
excited because of this. I'm hoping to make it like a 50-50 balance between the visuals and the performance. So it won't be just like a performing, not like a live band. So there'll be a story going on all around from top to end in the visuals. And then that will tell the story. That will also support the missing parts in this main story. So it won't be like only these stories. There are more stories, as I said, about resistance. So they will come as different parts, and I will try to make a sparkling like bubbles all around in the visuals, and that will be performed live. Now I'm just working on the acoustic versions myself,
Right.
and very soon I'll start sharing it with other musicians who I have somehow some I have contacted, some not yet, some poets. Yes, step by step, it's getting there, hopefully. Mhm.
So was that the process that you get acoustic versions first and then send them on with the kind of themes and ideas that you have onto your collaborators?
Yes, as a musician, what I feel like if you can play a song only with a guitar, then it's a good start. That's what I feel, especially for this project. So that builds the bridge between the audience and you. If you can play just by guitar, that's perfect. So that's why I started with these acoustic versions only first.
Hmm.
But it's not going to be only a guitar, of course,
No,
when I
no.
say acoustic. The singers are very important on this project, so that's where the trick will be, I think. It's not, yeah, it's somehow acting and singing, depending on how it evolves
Yeah, because you've got people in there that I recognize from musical theatre. So
as
they,
well. Yeah.
absolutely. And in terms of visuals that you spoke about, are we talking filmed pieces or are you just talking kind of the stage, the look of the piece?
Both. I think I'm not exactly sure if they will be videos or not. Probably they will be animated, but lighting and stage design also has a very important part, a role on this staging. And yeah, that's I can say that I can tell now, but I'm not expecting like full video performances but somehow I'm hoping it to be a bit abstract and leaving the audience to visualize seeing something but visualize it on their minds as well. As I said, this should be a timeless project,
Yeah.
and I don't want to di tell people what you see this is the idea. It's not that. Everyone, like the collaborators, how they felt free when they were creating something for this project. I want the audience to free and to feel free and see dream, or let's say everyone has their own personal experiences, lived experiences. So I just try to open a door with the visuals and let them think freely. That's what I have on my mind.
'Cause, I mean, theatre is a sort of collaboration with the audience as well, isn't
Yes,
it?
exactly, exactly.
People come with their own experiences and their own beliefs, and then
Yes.
and that kind of adds to what they see, I think, and how
Yeah.
it's been. So, do you see Resist really as an ongoing project that may not have an end? It would be nice, I guess, if it did have an end. But you've already spoken about doing more songs. It's not just like this. Here's an album. This is done. I move on to the next project. It feels like Resist is something
Mm,
that's really,
that's how I feel. Yeah. Now it is resist. Maybe the next one will be exist, or I don't know. It
yeah,
will go
yeah,
on like that. But the thing is, I wish it wouldn't be continuing forever because this is based on what's happening around us, which
yeah.
means that if I continue this project, nothing is changing in the world, and
Yeah.
I'm still trying to resist with people around me, with other collaborators. But that is what we have to do, resist. There's a phrase, there's a word I've written in the album, which is We need to resist to exist. That is, in fact, it's crazy. It's so sad. I mean, why?
Yeah.
Why should we always resist against something? And why? I mean, what makes me sad, but also makes me reactive and respond to what's happening. So, yeah, if this project is going forever, we are doomed.
But as you say, the third act, so to speak, is about hope, and and these ideas of solidarity and human connection, they're also permanent. They're also
They
always
are permanent, yes. That is the beauty of it.
yeah,
Being together. I mean, together we can do everything, but being alone, you just get isolated. And yes, that's the risk as well as a human being. That's why I try always. Not only this project, there are other projects as well in my career, which I try to bring in so many voices together. So it is another beauty, which
well,
perhaps, yes, that is the part that excites me most about doing this kind of putting some creativity on the table, let's say,
yeah.
sharing it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your career. How did you get involved in your musical life from a young age? I think you said.
It is, yeah. In fact, I'm a metallurgical engineer. It's funny. I have a degree on that, but it was always music since I was, I don't know, my parents keep on telling me that. I don't remember, of course, but I used to play recorders when I was 5, something
Right.
like that. It was always music, and I couldn't have the chance to go to conservatoire or a musical school because my dad was an engineer, like a very typical family life, who wants their son to go into that direction.
Yeah.
But I resisted. I think that's since I've and the day I finished school, I jumped into this. Even before finishing the school, to be honest, I started to. I co-founded my university's radio station, Radio
Right.
2. So that's, I think, I know I was always performing with bands since I was 18. I was always on stage. I think it all shaped like naturally in my life, but music was always in the first place in everything I've done. So when I finished school, I just jumped into the professional life, and then I had this chance of working with advertising companies in very that taught me a lot. So
Right.
working in an advertising industry as I was a sound engineer by then mostly and producer, though still creating my own stuff. That really helped me to see so many different styles, so many different worlds. Yeah, also the trades going behind the commercial side of what's happening. That was my chance, I think. And then I've started a record label, Electric Records, which is still going on, and I released this from that label, Resist from that label as well. So I had with the label, I had the chance of working with many different artists as a producer. So I had basically this time in my career, this years, I had the chance of having multiple hats
Yeah.
as a composer, which was mostly personal, but also at the same time commercial because of writing jingles.
Yeah.
Artistic, which is the theater for music, with music. So theater gave me my artistic identity, find me to experience and discover my artistic musical identity. And commercials as films also is very artistic. And then also performing on stage as a guitar player in with different bands. So many hats. And music as a music producer who worked on many albums in many different styles. Yeah,
So
mostly yeah, this is.
no, but it's really interesting. It's particularly what an unusual kind of journey that is, I think, as well. It's so interesting when I talk to musicians whose parents have also been involved in music or maybe just the arts, then there's no problem with them doing it. But when it's with people whose parents have been, whatever, doing something else, engineering or whatever it might be, not in the arts, then there's that, oh, don't put your son on the stage. It's a terrible, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But also coming through that kind of commercial sector when music is involved, it's still artistic, of course it is, but there's a commercial thing at the end of it as well. That's an interesting aspect to it. Must have taught you a lot, I guess.
That's it, definitely, definitely. Uh, Working in this commercial industries in music helps me or helps whoever working in this industry to see and realize the job from the other side.
Yeah,
And that is, I think that is the most important part working as a professional in commercial music industry. You should understand what is being asked from you. And most of the times people ask me, what's your style? And tell them, I don't have a particular style. I feel like a jukebox. So just push the correct button. And if you're asking me about my personal style again, I don't know. I love so many different musical styles. And on stage, when I'm playing guitar, I'm a rock musician. I feel like a rock musician. But when I'm listening, or let's say mixing something, I feel like a dub musician. Or yeah, it's all changing. And so working in the commercial also supports this. I'm not exactly trying to say that I give people what they want.
no,
It is not that, but I try to I have to understand what is being there, talking about commercial stuff, and then I give it in the correct way with my artistic way of presenting it, in my artistical approach, with my artistical approach. That is the trick I can tell and say people. But yes, that is really helpful working in the commercial industry, not only in jingles or advertising, but also films, television series. They all have their own rules,
yeah,
different parts. It's a crazy and very harsh, brutal
yeah.
sometimes industry.
But again, you mentioned the idea of like a jukebox. You can press this style or that style because actually on Resist the album there are so many different styles.
And
And
these are the styles
it's
I
almost
like.
like you're exploring all sorts of different ones. Here's a bit of dub. Here's, something more folk tinged, maybe. Here's something that's a bit kind of rock guitar going on in it. And you've really explored different aspects musically
Yes.
as well.
I mean, uh, there's another challenge in my uh, musical character career as well. I think I'm always trying to challenge myself with different styles. There are still some styles I'm not very competent, which are not aware here on this album. But I love discovering and creating and challenging myself with different styles. But in Resist, I let these musical styles appear by themselves because I started with the lyrics
Yeah.
mostly. I just try to fill in the gaps with some instrumentals, and I try to put them in a logical order, let's say, by means of music style, so that it is being accepted or let's say here listened as a whole album in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of musically telling a story as well, because the music fits the songs, the lyrics, the ideas, and so as you listen through it, there's nothing jarring. There's not like, oh, why is that bit of music there? It all kind of
Okay.
feeds into each other, I think. It's
I'm
like,
so glad to hear this from you, especially from you. That's amazing. Thank you.
oh no, absolutely. It also repeats a number of listens as well to kind of really. There's a lot of complexity going on musically as well as these kind of important ideas. We should let people know where they can find out more about Resist and about yourselves. Is there a website people can go to?
I have my own personal website, which is www.oguzkaplanji.com. But there's also in the main menu that people can find everything from me, almost everything from me on my website. But the thing is, I've dedicated a special page for Resist, from which they can see the collaborators, they can see the streaming links, on Spotify or whether they are using Apple Music or Spotify or others. So there's a link to forward people, lead people into the streaming. And there's a video of the project of Standing Ground, which was done by Jamie McDonald. He's an amazing video artist. And in that one, we are using the border pipes as well by Annie Grace, an amazing artist again, which I collaborated before. Since the day I moved here in 2018, she was on my first project, which we did Rhinoceros on stage, and she performed bagpipes in the soundtrack. So yes, people can find more there. I'm available on all social media and area. I'm trying to be active, but it's not easy to
Uh,
follow everything.
it's not, and we will put all the links to those pages that you mentioned on our website so people
Thank you.
can find them and do that. And you mentioned that you're hoping it will be on vinyl at some point.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of a collector as
Mm.
well. I used to have this huge cassette archive, then it's changed into CD archives, and then it all of a sudden everything disappeared. We became listening to streams, and then I started collecting vinyls again.
Yeah.
And I like this. I believe even though you listen to something, you still want to touch it. You want to see the book, the credits, who is involved, who wrote the lyrics. Okay, you can reach them on social streams as well, but it's not what you prefer. People are just listening to music without knowing who got involved. So I think that connection still comes with physical releases, and whoever wants to connect more has to have a chance to find a physical version of it. So that's why I'm trying lately. I'm always trying to release vinyls of my albums mostly, not the soundtracks. But yeah, so my plan is to releasing this as a vinyl as well.
Yeah,
Hope.
I agree with everything you've said there. And actually, I can imagine because you've got, certainly on the press release that I got, you've got kind of chapters on every song, your kind of breakdowns of every song and the person who's on it. So
Yeah.
there's great reading there. There's really interesting reading to be had there.
Our marketing guru Serdan Salih, he prepared this booklet, and I'm so grateful for that. But that's amazing to at least we have that.
Yeah,
But still you don't have the chance to upload it to the streams.
no,
It is so it is just only people who can get into the website of Resist can download that. But still, that's something. Yeah.
yeah. And I was wondering, as we've been talking, when you finish a day's work, if that's how you would think of your day's work, who do you listen to? Who do you go back and listen to, or what do you listen to? What's on in your house?
Depends. I mean, I love cooking.
Yeah.
When I'm cooking, I just open a pour myself a glass of red wine and listen to old rock, very classical. So that is the part when I'm cooking, I listen to rock music. I don't know. That is I love it. And yesterday I was just listening to very cliche maybe, but Deep Purple classics. So I just realized my favorite band is Thin Lizzy since I was a child. So
Ah, wow.
I mostly cook listening to these Led Zeppelin, those kind of classical rock music albums. I prefer to listen to the albums rather than playlists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yes, I mean that's what I prefer. And then when I'm outside walking, let's say if I'm walking some time of myself to get healthy, let's say, I think I listen mostly dub music,
All right. Okay.
dub, but deep dub, maybe those kind of things. And other than that, if I'm traveling, I try to discover. So I just let it uh, play. I choose a track maybe, and then the rest of it's mostly, I think, the algorithms because of my music listening choices. I think the algorithm leads me in a way after I
Mhm.
select the first track. The rest is selected automatically. But when I choose something from, if something gets my attention, let's say, and then I just look at who that was and then dive into their albums.
Yeah.
So yes. can't exactly tell names, but
No.
yes, a few days ago we were listening to Leisure, for example. Leisure is amazing, very good. I love it.
It's interesting you talking about listening to the albums, those classic rock albums. I'm a big fan of those myself. And they often are albums which tell stories. If you true, you really want
Yes,
to listen to the whole, you know,
exactly.
over two sides of vinyl there. They're kind of painting their own pictures.
I love that. I mean, without any stories or themes, I don't know. I mean, otherwise they all sound like compilations. I mean, why? I mean, if an artist has an album, I think that is they're trying to tell you something, and you're listening to them to understand what they're trying to tell you. So if you like their style as well, so that is where only you can reach to that only by listening to the album. And not, yes, but yeah, the rules are different because you cannot easily reach to people with only with the albums. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's not possible sometimes, most of the time. So you have to release singles to get the attention of the audience.
Yeah.
And then they should ask, oh, who was this? Who's this? "Oh, I like it. I like it." And then
Absolutely.
you expect them to discover you more.
You've released singles from Resist. Was it
To
easy easy to pick which ones? Was it difficult?
That was very difficult for me. I mean, I don't know. I really had difficulty. Even so yeah, that's my album in the end, together
Yeah.
with the collaborators. But I first there are different now. The streaming world is a bit strange than the conventional record releases. So basically, I wanted to focus on Standing Ground before the release,
Hmm.
which was accepted, which was welcomed by playlists.
Hmm.
And to me, it made sense because I didn't want the first release to be with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Standing Ground is the track where I have border pipes. So Scotland, it's my standing ground, it's my home. So basically, that is why I wanted to start with that. A bit risky, I thought at first, but then on the contrary, it found its place in playlists as it didn't have lyrics
Yeah.
because different playlists were able to place it into their regular place.
Yeah.
So that was the first focus rather than a single. It's called a focus track.
Right.
And then the first single was The Seeds, the opening track, let's say, the first track with the lyrics,
Yeah.
which is telling the story. It's kind of a Bond, James Bond track, I think, but because my partner, my music partner back in Istanbul, Serkan Çelikos, he started in that direction. And then I said, okay, it fits well because something is going to happen. It shouldn't be like a detective song, but it's not, basically. But the words were amazing, which is written by real life partner Chidem, and then the vocals Stephanie McGarrett. She had the performance such an amazing way that was so lovely. So that was the first single, Seeds, which is also still getting great streams. Now it is, in fact, today I will try to put it online again. They're all online, but push
Yeah.
it, which
Sure.
is The Moon is Dead by Zinni Harris. And I believe that is lyrics wise, that tells the story in a perfect way of the album. That is like the summary of the album.
Yeah.
So they say the moon is authority is telling you something, and even though it's absurd, you accept it. And then the older generation in that one, it's the mother. It's not it's accepting, it's rejecting, and this idea because on the radio they keep on telling you this is changed, books are dead,
Yeah.
day is dead, sleep is dead, that is dead, and so it's so absurd that the mother says, "Come on," and yeah, it's like in fact it's also a murder ballad for me. So I
Uh,
tried to write it in a murder ballad kind of a way, not exactly, but mostly. So they're basically killing your life
yeah.
and you're accepting it. So that is today is the day for The Moon is Dead, and
Fantastic.
one of my favorite tracks. Kirsty Finley had an amazing performance in that one, and she just hit it in the second or third recording in the studio. We all watched it like we were in a we were so not shocked. What's that word? Exact word for that? But we were amazed by her performance.
Yeah.
Mesmerized. Yes, that's the word, I think.
Yeah. Yes, it is the word. That's fantastic. Well, it's a great album. I've been really enjoying. There's so much
Thanks.
to explore, so
Thanks very
much to kind
much.
of, that, as I said, rewards repeated listening. I wish you all the best with it. And as it goes forward, do keep in touch. So I'd love to see it as a
Definitely.
piece of theatre.
Thank you. Thank you. Definitely, I'll keep in touch. Now, as I said before we started today, I'm a big fan of you now, of your performing, of your podcasts and everything. You bring so much to the Scottish cultural world. You bring these different artists and their works on your podcasts. Amazing. Really, thank you for having me. I'm honored and so glad to be in your podcasts here.
Uh,
And
it's all about human connection.
it is solidarity.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been a real treat.
Thanks, Alice.
And we'll be back soon with someone completely different.